The first power was nature. In humanity's infancy, power was not yet ours to hold. Laws and forces beyond human comprehension shaped our lives, and everything we did was aimed at survival. The second power was spirit. Incomprehensible forces took on form and personality. We struggled to comprehend their whims, and power was born from divine approval. The third power was law. We decided what we thought right, and set principles above any king. Power became at last a human thing. The fourth power was money. The forms we built took on life of their own, and the power we created escaped from our grasp and devoured us. The fifth power is nature. We understand the wisdom in the forces that first shaped us, but now we adapt to them, learn from their patterns, and dance with them. Power is ours, but not ours alone, and we can create harmony with the world. From the Dandelion Manifesto, Volume 2.3, released December 2043. In the bad old days, the commentary said later, nation-states had plans laid in for this sort of thing. They'd have caught the ship on satellite surveillance. They'd have gotten in the ground with sterile tents and tricorders and machine learning translators, taking charge. In a crisis, we still look for the big ape. But the view from below has long since supplanted the view from above, so there were no satellite pictures committed indelibly to collective memory. Instead, the embedded water sensors near Bear Island suddenly sent out alerts for skyrocketing phosphate levels. And instead of a big ape shouting orders, the world got me. It was 3:22 a.m. on Monday, March 2nd, 2083, and I was on call for sensor events along with 11 other volunteers for the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Network. I was first in the ground, even though our consensus judgment of the reading was malware noise, because I was already up with Dory. She'd been awake and crying for well over an hour, and I almost cried myself at the excuse for a handoff. I woke Carol, with truly sincere apologies, but I had to go check out a watershed emergency, see if you can get this baby back to bed. If it had been 10 degrees colder, she wouldn't have bundled Dory into a sling and come out with me, and this would have been a different story. But the kid quieted down as soon as we stepped out onto our walk, and I admitted that there probably weren't really dangerous pollutants on site, and if there were, my wife and kid could stay back. The night was balmy and smelled of lilacs. The illumination curfew had kicked in, and stardust stretched across the old Maryland suburbs like a parade scarf. My mesh asked me if I wanted night vision, and I told it quietly to fuck off. "In a couple of months it'll be too hot to take her outside most nights," said Carol. And we held her up to the moon and snuggled her against our chests, and she fell asleep in the car seat of the watershed-sponsored ride as soon as it started moving. "You will reach your destination in 28 minutes, the ride told us. And we looked at each other and at the baby, and then slept happily in each other's arms the whole way. At the drop-off, Carol took the sling and managed to shift Dory without waking her. Then we walked across the bridge and picked our way along the path. I didn't turn on night vision, but I did up the tactile gain in my soles, all the way to the north side cliffs. And there we found a palace, where before had been only root-cracked stone. Silver, I thought at first, gleaming in the moonlight. But I blinked and saw black metal with the iridescent sheen of a grackle. Human eyes weren't made for it. When I toggled my lenses to night vision, the palace shed a rainbow of heat across the budding clover. I messaged the network. "Not a false alarm. Not a spill. Need more sensors." I wasn't sure what else to say, or if sending a picture would get me accused of snoping.
Thank you for listening to this clip provided to you by Macmillan Audio. To hear more, look for this title wherever audiobooks are sold.